No.
Hey everyone, we are the Masters of Dungeons, and I am DM Logan, and this will be session 1 of what I'm calling Tyranny of Dragons. So let's go ahead and introduce our players.
All right. I'm Ryan. I'll be playing Aubrin, Son of the Sun. He's a half-elven paladin. Wesley.
Hello, my name is Wesley Fortes, and I'll be playing.
Do not use my last name, you fool!
Rude.
I have a very unique last name and first name combination, so they can find out literally everything about me.
All right,
Not
Wesley.
that any of you would care, but, you know, if I ever become something, they'll be like, oh, we know who he is. All right, so my name is Wesley. I'm playing Tristana, a sorceress who is a human. Molly.
All right. Hey, my name is Molly. I'm the guy who wanted to make it not so professional and screw up the order. And I am playing Noah Lockhart. He is a rogue half-elf.
Huh. Gay?
Maybe. You have to wait and find out.
Okay. So let's jump right in and see if I can craft like the days of yore. Aubrin. The sun's warm rays caress your cheeks as you approach a well-built tavern on the outskirts of the small town of Greenest. A rusty sign creaks in the wind. It reads, "The Centaur's Hoof." You know that this is the place you seek. Not far up the road, halfway between you and the tavern, a crowd quickly gathers around an ugly, crooked-nosed old man who begins to shout, "Be ye warned! The end is nigh. Doom rests upon the horizon as the archdevil, the dark lady, the nemesis of the gods, the queen of chaos approaches. Pray to your gods, coddle your loved ones, repent your sins, because this world will soon be torn asunder." And he pauses, looking out over the crowd. "You there, child of the sun, will you not hearken the words of a madman? When villages burn and children scream in the night, where then will your mighty Pelor be? Doomed, I say! We are doomed!" Suddenly, like smoke in the wind, he fades into the confused crowd. Okay. So, Aubrin, do you make your way to the tavern?
Does anybody look at me once he calls me out?
Nobody seems to stare at you in any different fashion.
Right. I'll make my way through the crowd and give the blessings of Pelor to people that look up at me.
Okay.
And into the tavern.
All right. You enter the Centaur's Hoof. It is a lively facility, and at the time of day is the evening, say around 6 or 7 o'clock, sundown time. And the bartender, who is a middle-aged minotaur and being above average intelligence for his race, employs the services of a half-dozen escorts in order to draw attention to his business in the middle of nowhere. Tonight is an especially busy one, as once every week, the Centaur's Hoof serves free beer with the purchase of an escort's services. Alas, where there is a bargain trouble is never far behind. How are you occupying yourselves? Noah?
Okay. So Noah would actually be sitting right on the bar. With his chin in his hand like this and tapping the fingers on his left hand on the bar, waiting for a drink that he ordered 5 minutes ago. And he's kind of just like rolling his eyes. It's like, come on. What is the bartender's name?
The bartender's name is Victus.
Like, come on, Victus. Are we gonna go through this every night?
Well, hold on there. I've got your drink coming up. You know how busy it gets on nights like this.
Yeah. You always say that.
He's gonna sling you over a nice pint of beer right in front of you, frothing and everything.
All right. You put honey in it?
What was that? Honey, you say? Let me check around here as he bends down and someone inevitably calls, Victus! as they walk into the tavern and he gets distracted.
Put his right hand over his eyes, and I'm kind of fiddle with the drink. It's like third time's a charm. I'm gonna have to tell my buddy Edmund about this. He owes me a silver. Oh man!
And out of the corner of your eye, in sort of the darkest corner of the tavern, one of the escorts, a beautiful one of the escorts, seems to be having an interesting conversation with a new patron to the tavern.
So, as you said, in the darkest corner, there sits a beautiful woman who's kind of sitting nonchalantly, like with one leg over the other in her hand. She holds like a wine glass, and she's like very nonchalantly and casually sipping. And her body language is very like relaxed and not interested. But her eyes are kind of like directly upon this pretty decent, interesting looking man. It's a one-eyed elf who has long blonde hair with studded leather. And so she's kind of just nonchalantly, very like sultry, just kind of like drinking her wine, but very intent on this elf.
You intrigue me, Tristana. You know, I would pay a dragon's hoard to spend an entire night with you.
Has he revealed his name yet?
Yes, my name. My name is Dralmorer Born Grey.
Dralmorer. Is it Aubrin?
Born Grey.
Born Grey.
It goes by Born Grey.
Born Grey. Born Grey, I'm afraid that even a dragon's hoard is not enough to win my heart. Why don't you try to sweeten the deal with something a little bit less trivial?
You know, they say that information can be worth more than gold. What is it that you seek, my dear?
How? Information. You intrigue me, Borgray. What type of information are you a purveyor of? Your kinsman, perhaps? Born Grey?
One second. I literally made my screen like full screen and I don't know how to get rid of it. Is it like F12? Wesley?
F12 should get rid of the full screens Or if you hit the escape button, it should get rid of it. I think F12 makes it full screen, and escape makes you get out of it.
I was about to say, I usually just hit escape.
Or you can always hit Alt-Tab, and that should work too.
Rip. I'll fix it later. Anyway.
You bore me, Born Gray.
Perhaps the whereabouts of the Aurum Dracone would perk up your ears.
She like looks at him very like from like the nonchalant kind of like teasiness. She like kind of like abruptly like looks into him, looks into his eyes. Now, Born Gray, where have you heard that name?
And as you ask him this question, the door opens, allowing the last of the day's sunlight to enter the abode. Aubrin.
When Aubrin walks in, you see an almost 6 foot, not quite there, chainmail plaid half elf with the holy symbol Pelor over his right, covering like the right of his chest area, torso. He's going to make his way to the bar.
All right. You can. There is definitely a seat available next to Noah.
I'll take that.
What can I get you? My name is Victus, says the Minotaur.
Do you have any coffee on this fine night? He says, and he
Coffee.
kind of rubs his hands in anticipation of coffee.
Coffee. I'm afraid not, my friend. We only serve beer here.
I guess I'll take whatever your weakest ale is.
The finest for you. And he's going to go over, grab a pint and fill it up all the way to the brim, overflowing with froth, and swoops it right in front of you. There you go. Enjoy that one. You'll be off your feet before you know it.
That I will. And he kind of like pours it out a little bit, and he reaches into his back pocket. He pulls out this little tube that he carries around with him of this golden liquid that he starts to pour in there. Maybe a little too much. Try and calm down the flavor of the ale.
Okay.
And Noah glances over at him, the stranger who is just sat next to him, and definitely notices that even though they ordered two completely different drinks, they got the same thing. And he just kind of mouthed the words under his breath. The finest for you, only the finest for you. His breath, and
Is it loud to hear?
Yes.
All right, when you say that, I'm going to kind of laugh at you. Well, if you add honey to it, it's just right. Have you ever tried it? I love it myself. He kind of pushes a little jar towards you.
And he looks over and very animatedly like, yes, in fact, that's how I usually drink here. But this he's like, oh, never had any. Thank you.
Of course, it's a must. Not all places have coffee, but when I must drink this, it's more honey than it is ale at this point.
Yeah, right. Noah kind of lean back, stretch. It's like, and as he's doing so, kind of look over real quick, kind of scan the garb of that Aubrin is wearing. Don't tell me you're one of those religious nuts. I mean, not to offend, of course, but you know.
Of course not. He kind of reaches his hand over. Aubrin, son of the sun, Paladin of Pelor.
Noah, worker. Not a very good title, but you know.
What kind of work do you do?
Mainly construction. You know, I usually I work. I'm at the sawmill back in Greenest, but when I saw that there's a job opportunity, you know, my good friend Ed told me about down here that pays just a little bit more. I had to come down here. It won't be permanent, but at least it'll be a little more silver in my pocket.
Oh, hopefully you find the work you're seeking. May Pelor guide you there.
Did you hear that asshole outside?
Oh, I saw him. I definitely saw him. He called me out at the very end, but he was gone before he'd even let me talk.
Really? He called you out individually?
He looked around the crowd and saw who I was and my symbol of Pelor, and he called me out.
Yeah, wouldn't you believe it? He's been doing that pretty much ever since I got here. Same time, every night, every evening, just before the sun goes down. And it's like annoying everything. But you know what? It's actually kind of all right. Not as many people come in here because of that, since he's right outside. Keeps it a little bit quieter. He says over the that's obviously going in the tavern. All right now. Yeah, I'm just gonna be sitting here. I don't know, where'd you come from? I haven't seen you around here.
I've been here and there. I'm searching for someone. Not really sure who right now, but I'm hoping to find them soon. I heard I'm hoping they're in the tavern. I've been led here, so hopefully I find them soon.
Well, if you're you know, searching for someone, there's a few girls back there. Pretty good. None of them I've really been with. You know, I've just been, you know, too tired for that. But I just want to relax. But there are a few of them back there. I'm pretty good. One of them is just like gorgeous. That's all I got. Of course, don't ever tell anyone I said that. But
Oh, of course not.
she's been rejecting people left and right. It's like she doesn't even know how to do her job. I don't know how she eats.
Oh, who knows? But it's not a girl I'm interested in, or one of these workers.
Oh, you're one of those. No offense.
He kind of nods when you say one of those, and of course not. No offense taken.
All right.
Okay.
I imagine the small talk would continue.
Yeah. And we're going to turn the imaginary camera back to Born Grey and our escort. So, this seems to have intrigued you, my dearest. Perhaps you would like to get a little closer, entice me a little into giving you what you desire. You're muted.
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
Well, this is kind of weird. Okay, so very enchantingly, she'll like lean in closer and she'll go like to his ear and like whisper very softly. Show me what you got.
Show me what you got.
Show me.
Or like, show me what you're working with or something. Oh man, this is.
Don't worry. He definitely accepts your close and warm embrace. But it is unfortunate that this cannot continue, he says, because Davin sends his best regards. And with that, a knife, really, that you did not see coming, he pulls out, and just the tiniest tip of the blade pricks you in the neck. And I'm going to need you to roll a Constitution save.
16.
Okay, good. So the instant that it enters your skin, you feel just a very sharp sting, and your vision just kind of contorts for the briefest moment, but it doesn't take hold. He doesn't know this, however, so he takes the knife out and puts it away, trying to let's see. It's going to make an athletics check against you to put your hands behind your back in a sneaky fashion.
So how Tristana would handle this is that as soon as the poison entered her stream, her bloodstream, I kind of see it as her inflammatory response, her body's natural defense against this kind of just flares up. Literally, I kind of see almost a burn of fire kind of run through that point, and just immediately neutralize the poison.
Perfect.
But instead of fighting back, this is she's intrigued, and she knows that if he thinks he has the upper hand, then she can probably work this a little bit more, a little bit better, and finesse more information out of him. She's just gonna go with him, kind of you know what I'm saying, not resist at all, kind of pretend like the poison actually did work.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So at this point, you allow yourself to be kind of limp to him, and he's going to, he's going to stand after he binds your hands behind your back, and he draws his sword, points it into the air, and says, "All right, everyone, don't make a scene. Now, I'm going to leave this tavern with this lady, and don't anyone try and stop me." At this point, he kind of looks very vile and rabid. You can see Victus kind of cock his head over in the corner. Who does this guy think he is? You're not going anywhere with my lady, you see. I'm going to have you unhand her. Well, now what did I just say? Men? And as he says that, four mercenary-looking dudes, eye patches and scars all over, stand from differing tables around the bar, and they all rise, some with crossbows and some with blades and axes that they draw. And let's roll an initiative.
It's at this point I kind of see him. Me and Aubrin maybe do we both look at the same time, and then I just turn back, kind of sulk a little bit, and there goes my night.
So Auburn's kind of flexing at his shield that's on his back and kind of moving it into position to grab it quickly.
All right. Rolled that sweet 2.
That's sweet 15. -1.
Okay, so there we go.
There we go. Get this down. All right. Tristana, it's your move.
I would like to defer my action until everyone else has moved.
All right, good. All right. So Born Gray is going to take his action and get to the door as quickly as possible. Surprisingly, he moves very fast with Tristana in his arms.
Well, that's because I'm very light, obvious.
Yes, indeed. So he is going to be able to make it across the tavern about 10 feet from the door. And one guy jumps over the bar to try and have his best at Victus, the bartender, since he was the one that was giving a fuss. A lot of the other peasant-like fellows just kind of scurry either out of the building or, away from the combat. But not too many people rise up to stop anyone. These are rather scary-looking men. So one more is going to move towards Born Gray, towards the door next to him, and two more are kind of eyeing anyone who would make a move. And it is Aubrin's turn.
You said Born Gray, right? That's his name?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Born Gray and one other are at the door?
Yes.
Can I tell what race they are?
Born Gray is a rather tall elf, and the one next to him is just a human mercenary, kind of bald hair, or bald with no hair, big scar across his eye, and he's got an axe.
Arbin's gonna flip his shield kind of like over his shoulder, and grab it off of his back, and pull it out. And his holy symbol's gonna light up on his chest area. It's just gonna glow as I cast sleep,
Oh,
directed on Born Gray, that area, with the two people there.
you said sleep?
Yeah.
Do I have to make a saving throw against that?
So I did say that he was an elf.
Right. I'm gonna cast it on the guy that's there. So he's on my way.
Okay. The human?
Yeah.
And is this just target one person?
It's a 20-foot radius.
Oh. So I will say if you do that, you would be able to get a second of the mercenaries.
All right, cool. I'd go for that.
All right. Do I need to roll a saving throw?
No, you don't get saving throws.
Sweet.
I roll 5d8, and it gives you a total number of hit points, and infects that many creatures worth of hit points.
Give me a number.
Uh, 30.
Great. Okay, so as you stand up, do you do anything? I mean, your holy symbol lights up. Do you say anything? Don't have to.
Right. I don't know. No. Just kind of, he doesn't want, he's not trying to make it obvious that he's doing it, unless you're kind of looking at him.
Okay. Well, as you stand and your holy symbol lights up, both of the mercenaries fall asleep rather violently, unconscious, not falling down, knocking their heads on the table, etc.
Then I'll move as far as I can towards him, towards Born Gray.
Towards Born Gray? Okay. Catching his attention. Next will be Noah. Molly?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, my internet's just been like really weird. All right, so I'm up. What's the scene before me now? I had to go do something. Like
So Born Grey has made a dash for the door with Tristana in hand, and he's about 10 foot from the door. He had a mercenary with an axe that ran to meet him at the door, and a mercenary that was further away, about 20 foot away, who was kind of watching over, making sure nobody got in the way. And both of them just fell down, crashed, hit their heads on the table, and are kind of like limp on the floor as the Aubrin, the paladin next to you, stood up, and his holy symbol kind of lit up.
All right, and I'm Noah, and I'm kind of stretch his shoulders back, get up, nonchalantly from the bar, but you're gonna owe me a few drinks for this, Victus. And then immediately I'm turns around quickly, and a dagger that was hidden underneath I don't know, maybe like a bandolier he has on or something, and he throws it actually at the foot of the guy who is holding this escort hostage.
All right.
First attack, natural 20.
Yeah.
Yes, it was with a dagger though, but it still counts. How do you do crits?
So, same way that you do.
Okay. All right. So that is math. That is 11 damage.
All right. And you said you threw it at his foot?
Yep. Threw in his foot, try to stick it in there.
How long's the dagger?
Pretty long. I'd say like the length of maybe like a steel dagger in Skyrim to give you that visual.
Okay. So, as you throw this dagger, landing literally perfectly, as if it were hitting a bullseye, straight through his Achilles tendon, he flies forward, sliding in front of the door, still with Tristana in his arms. And, are you going to do anything else?
Hey, you said he flew forward?
Correct.
Okay. So Noah would begin to slowly walk forward and begin to draw one of the swords from one of the scabbards on his back, and he pulls out this pretty neat looking short sword. But he only pulls out one for now. And he says something like, I'm pretty sure that's not how you're supposed to treat a lady.
Okay. All right. Is that your turn?
Yep, that is my turn.
Okay. So it is the top of the morning with Tristana. The very bottom of the round with Tristana.
Okay, so Tristana, my guess would be, kind of fell with him as he sprawled forward.
Right. He's doing everything he can to kind of keep hold of you in both of his arms, stretched out, sprawled out in front of him as he flails on the ground.
So is he on top of me, or am I like off to the side from him?
Let me say, like, he was running, so he fell forward and threw his arms out in front of him. So you're kind of sprawled in front of him as
Gotcha.
He tries to keep hold of you.
So Tristana would, again, still playing a little bit more frustrated, but still trying to pull off this facade. He's gonna pretend to be like kind of like, like drowsy or whatever, but like really like her eyes are very keenly like moving around the scene to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Does she see any other armed men kind of running towards her, or can she assume that these two were probably the only, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. So there is one more that was trying to halt or slow down Victus, the bartender. And other than that, no.
Okay, doke. And can you just, so Victus is on the ground, can you kind of describe, like, not Victus, sorry, Born Grey's on the ground, can you kind of describe, what's the word? Are we like within 5 feet of each other, basically?
Oh yeah, he still has you in his arms, kind of, but he's sprawled out on the floor, face down.
Okay, so it's kind of like his arms were like around my legs or something.
Well, I mean, he had you around the abdomen, and then he.
So he kind of like had me like a fireman's carry type of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
And then he fell forward, so I kind of see him like he has like my leg or like my hips or
Right.
something like that.
Exactly.
Okay. Tristana sighs, a very audible sigh on her back. Had worse. And then she's going to her hands are bound, right?
Yes, behind her back.
Okay. Behind her back?
Yes.
Oh, that kind of puts it. Okay, so she has this ability where whenever she touches something with her hands, it catches on fire. So, like, how do you want to? Is that okay if like I just kind of like?
Of course.
So you kind of hear like a little
rope
sizzle and rope. So how do you want to count as like a bonus action or something like that, or what do you want to?
You can do that immediately.
Okay. So yeah, so she kind of sighs, burns the thing off of her wrists, and she looks down at her wrists, and like part of her like sultry like silky gloves are like kind of like ruined or whatever, and so she's kind of like, I just bought these, men. And so she's going to basically she's going to do shocking grasp, but kind of how I see it is she creates a flame so hot in her hand that it creates this plasma that kind of is like a lightning bolt basically. She basically excites the matter in the air so fast with like the heat of her hand that like these really mean sounding lightning things are kind of like just bolting between her hand, and she's just going to put her hand on like his hand basically and do shocking grasp. So that's like it's a melee attack basically. It's a melee spell attack. So
all right,
17 plus 7, so like a 24.
Good.
24. Okay. 8 plus 5. Sweet. So that's 13 points of damage. And so he can't take a reaction for this until the end of his next turn. So Tristana would basically, after doing that, would try to kind of just get up on her feet. But she's still kind of standing over Born Grey. Kind of like, and then just kind of pushes him off of herself because he can't take a reaction against her because it's it's like he's kind of like just kind of stand up and that'll be the end of her turn.
All right. So
dust herself off.
As you kind of push him off and he's electrocuted. Oh, you wench! So he's gonna roll over and get up right in front of you. And he's going to, well, because he didn't learn his lesson the first time, he's going to try and take hold of you.
Okay. So
he's going to bull rush you towards the door, is the idea.
Okay. He could try.
So he's going to athletics.
Can I use acrobatics to get out of the way?
Yes.
Okay, that's not super inspiring. 9 plus. So I think that's a 13.
Really?
No, that's a 12.
So he also rolled a 12.
Roll off.
Sure.
One more go.
Roll away.
How do you want to do it? Roll off or
roll away?
Okay. 13 this time.
So he rolls a 22.
Bitch.
All right, so his charge connects, and as it does, he runs into you, and you both smash into the door. So he's really trying to grab onto you and get you out of this place.
Yeah, so kind of how I see this going down is like as soon as she stands up, she's going to look at the two guys who've come to her aid, and she say something like, I had that under control. And she gets, like, and like kind of like knocked against the door.
Okay. So at this point, the door kind of like flings open, but y'all are in the doorway as you kind of are tumbling out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. So it will be Aubrin's turn. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me. So there's kind of a spectacle behind the bar as this one guy with 2 daggers attempts to plunge them into the back of Victus. Victus turns around, grabs this guy by the skull, and smashes him into the bar. Aubrin, it's your turn.
How far am I away from Born Grey and Tristana?
About 20 feet.
Alright, I'm gonna move the 20 feet towards him. And does he ever like grapple, or did he like push her out the door and he went with her?
I would say kind of sort of both, but for mechanic wise, he's kind of got her. He succeeded in his grab attempt.
Alright.
Kind of like a prolonged tackle, where he didn't take me to the ground.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm gonna try and do what I can to grab him and keep him from running any further.
Okay.
I have shield in one hand, and then my left hand's open.
So you're gonna grab him?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and grab him and pull him back if I can.
Okay.
If I pull him hard enough, see if he loses his grasp on Tristana.
All right. Do you want to go ahead and roll for?
17.
And and he rolls. So it's just it's a little too much momentum for you to grab. But I will say that as you go to grab, it's not so much that you couldn't pull him back. It's that he's falling forward, rolling over Tristana.
Right.
Okay. Do you want to do anything else?
Let me look at something. Trying to find something real quick. Alright, now I'm good.
Okay. Noah.
All right. So I'm going to describe what happens next through Born Grey's eyes.
Okay.
Actually, so what he sees, Aubrin tried to grab him, but he just could. Maybe got just a hold of like I don't know, the clothes he's wearing, but he couldn't. Like you said, there's too much momentum, and he kind of rolls forward. And as soon as he gets up from rolling forward, immediately in his vision is the pinprick of a sword being pointed straight between his eyes. And with Noah standing there with a little bit of a smirk on his face, and says, "So you're gonna let her go, or are we gonna have to make this an even bigger scene? And you might not like where it goes." And so I'm trying to make like an intimidate check with this.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So that would be a 16.
And a 16, you said?
Yes.
And with his brilliant charisma, he rolls a 14. So, all right. Okay. He kind of looks. I know when I've been beat, they will not be pleased with me. Fine. And he kind of pushes Tristana towards you.
And so Noah would actually catch her just a little bit and and kind of whisper, not really. Yeah, I'm sure you had that under control.
Tristana is going to very angrily, like kind of like I guess like am I falling towards him like face first or kind of like my back kind of like lands on him type of thing?
So you mean like after he pushes you towards?
Do I fall towards him like hands first, or is my back facing towards?
Hands first.
Okay. Yeah, she's going to very angrily kind of like push you like off of her. And so you just ruined the only lead I had for months.
He's like, whoa, kind of puts up his hands. And he's like, all right, sorry for screwing that up or whatever. And thought I was doing a good deed. Guess not. And although he's still right there.
And as you say, he's still right there. You look back to where he should be, and about 30 feet away is him literally hightailing it as fast as he can into the nearest tree line.
And so I see it.
As if he had jumped basically from one place to another immediately.
Yeah, and so it's definitely how I see it is like it's on my face and Tristana's face. I'm like, well, yeah, but he is right there. And then it looks, and then he jumps over some way in the distance, and he's like, all right. And then it looks back to Tristana. Yeah, sorry, I guess.
Oh, not yet, but you will be.
Well, again, make a wisdom saving throw. As Aubrin's symbol glows in the night.
Okay. That is a 9.
Right. As Borngray jumps the fence, I think he said he does.
Something like that, sure.
Right. As he jumps over, he falls paralyzed on the ground. And I kind of look at Noah and I go,
Got away.
Well, go catch him. He's laying there. He's laying behind the wall for you.
You're just full of surprises, aren't you?
Aubrin winks at him. Pelor guided me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And
Noah, what hands in pockets. But actually, look at Tristana and kind of like do that. It's like, after you, sweet cheeks.
Whoa.
She very haughtily kind of like trims herself off, shakes her hair back or whatever, and like walks very like gallantly over to where he is paralyzed. And so is this a temporary paralysis?
Look at the chat. He cast hold person.
Okay, yeah, I'm basically just gonna go over there and just kind of like put my boot on his chest.
You can see him seriously struggling.
I believe we haven't finished our transaction.
I'll never tell you anything, wench.
So David still thinks about me. I guess that's charming. Knowing that he still cares enough to. And I don't recognize this guy, right? I've never seen him before.
No.
I look at his boots for a mark on his boots. Do I see said mark on a boot?
So, and that's a good observation of you. But rather, instead of on his boot, the knife that he used earlier contained a symbol very much like one that you know, but in red.
Can she like see this little she's just gonna grab it basically and kind of like inspect it?
Yeah.
Looks like they've upgraded. Now, Borngray, I'm gonna ask this once. Where were you going to take me?
Do you want to really? So he's going to respond to that kind of like silently.
The silent treatment's a dangerous game. And she's going to kind of like start twirling the dagger very smoothly and kind of go closer and closer to his privates region. You know, you have to think, what are you willing to give up for a man who would literally slice your throat for a wheel of cheese? You willing to lose this? And she kind of like puts pressure on, you know, are you willing to lose an ear, a tongue, nose? This? And she's going to roll an intimidate check while putting pressure on, well, I think we all know. Is it 18 intimidation check?
We shall see.
Okay, well,
Indeed it does. Indeed it does. So, with this, one moment. Born Grey is going to... Please, don't. Don't do that. Fine. Fine. This... the Aurum Draconis... Well, they are in league with a group called the Cult of Dragons. And they intend to usher in a new era, a new dawn that has no place for the likes of you, human wench.
Do I know anybody from my past to be like racist against humans in my organization that I was possibly a part of?
All right. DM slip for a moment. Davin was a
Elf. He was an elf.
right. So yes, they were not so partial to humans towards the end of you breaking off with the group.
So he said just kind of like recap: League of Dragons,
The Cult of Dragon. Cult of the Dragon.
Cult of the Dragon. Sorry, that's why I had to ask.
Yeah, I actually said it wrong.
Cult of the Dragon. Okay. Okay, so Davin seemed to like me just fine earlier. I haven't heard from him in, well, about a year. Seems that you've been busy since you left me to die. But you seem new. Are you when did you join?
As if my allegiance to Davin has anything to do with the current situation. You know, he does still talk a lot about you. He misses your warm embrace. Really, he just misses your tits.
Well, that's cute. Then why didn't he come and see them himself?
He's a busy man.
Yeah, sounds like it. In league with the dragon. Do we know? Have I ever heard the Cult of the Dragons ever been mentioned before?
No.
Tell me, who are these new dragons that you serve, Born Grey?
Give me a moment.
Perhaps you need a little bit of convincing. And she pushes the tip into the trouser, just cutting the trouser, not going any like skin level, but has started to cut the trouser around the the crotch area, just to put on the pressure. Bring up the heat.
Oh, you know your importance, Tristana. Do not feign your purpose in this world. The power that you hold, it's worth more than what you're using it for.
I believe that's for me to decide. not you, not Davin, not some cult of the dragons. Tell me, where can I find these gaudy men?
Well, I can tell you as we speak, the town of Greenest is burning. So, we can continue our little chat here, or you can go find out for yourself.
And so I'm actually before anything, you'd see literally right next to his head a short sword being stabbed into the ground, and you're not even sure when Noah got there. And he leans in a little bit closer, like, "You gotta run that by me again, asshole."
That's right. You heard me. We command a dragon, and its only purpose under our command is to destroy.
No, I don't care about that. And he slaps him like, "What about Greenest?"
It burns, you fool!
And so, so just that feeling, just that like a sinking feeling where it feels like a hand is like a wrapping around your heart. Is like that cold feeling begins to overtake Noah, and you'd see his expression darken, and he would stand up again, and once again, also incredibly close to his face, shove the other short sword in, and he'd get up, and right after that, he'd immediately take the short swords out, and he'd look over to Tristana with him this kind of like this more cool than he should be face, but it's a very cold face. He says, "You're an escort, right?"
Not that you could afford me, but yes.
Yeah, I was actually wondering about that. See if I'm gonna have to go down there. Dragon or whatever is there. So I don't know if I can pay you or whatnot. I don't know if I can afford. But if if that's just a joke, then I'm just gonna be on my way. But I need to go there now. It seems you have something to do with this. I don't know, cult of the dragon. I was gonna make some shitty one-liner, but not really mood for that now.
And as you say that, Aubrin's gonna kind of like step up. He's just been watching from like the side, out of the way, and he's kind of unfolding some rope, like a good length of rope. And he's, "I'd love to join you. I'll bring Pelor, and we'll save Greenest. Let's tie him up and get going."
Tristana looks towards. So you said you're gonna have the rope. What were we saying about the rope, Brian?
Yeah, I brought out like a coil of rope, and I said, "Let's tie him up, and then we'll get going."
She kind of nods. I agree with the handsome one. And she looks over at Noah. You're kind of sexy when you're angry.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'll take the compliment, I guess.
I suppose for the moment our interests are aligned.
And that they are. I save these people in the city.
We'll tie up this what's a shrivel of a man or elf, and we'll give him to Victus. Oh, he'll take very good care of him. He's a very good host.
I'm sure he will. But
All right. So I'll carry him back to the tavern, and and as you get back to the tavern,
I've got him hog-tied over my shoulder so he doesn't go anywhere.
Okay. As you get back to the tavern, you see this dwarf kind of run ahead of you as y'all are walking back, and he busts open the door, and you can hear him exclaim from where you are as you approach, "Please help! Someone help! Greenest, it's being attacked by a dragon! Please, anyone!" And so, as you come back in and I guess Victus kind of meets you at the door with this dwarf.
Yeah, and so Noah, and I'm actually, as soon as this dwarf starts exclaiming, but actually I'm turn him around. Is like, how'd you get here? Do you have a cart, a horse?
Yes, the wagon. It is by the stables.
By the stables. All right. Need to go now. Right now. Victus, do what you want with that guy. Kill him. I don't know. Make him work. Whatever. I don't know. Turn him in. Beat his skull in. We need to go.
Is this the elf?
And Noah would have actually already begun walking to the stable at that point.
All right.
Basically, Tristana would very quickly say, "Just keep a watchful eye on him. We'll be back for him. Thanks, Victus." She kind of runs to the stable.
Yeah. That one's a fiery one.
Oh, you have no idea.
All right, dirtbag, we're taking you back behind the tavern. And he kind of picks the elf up, takes him back. You know, the stables are behind the tavern, so he's kind of making his way around there.
You hear Aubrin shout, "Just don't kill him. Make him work for it." And then
I've got some pet projects in mind.
And Aubrin looks back into the door of the tavern. He goes, "If anyone wants to join us, hurry."
And you see mostly just shell-shocked people and no volunteers.
She looks at the paladin and she's like, "Really? You think you're going to get a volunteer from these folk? These are peasants, farmers."
Yeah, a couple of inebriated farmers.
Pelor bless you all. And he kind of after Noah.
It's a good thing you're pretty.
I thank you, man.
You shouldn't.
Okay, so y'all gonna clamber into the wagon with a very anxious Noah and ride. This is kind of just like a one-horse wagon. Y'all fit comfortably, but it's not that big. So Greenest is maybe a 15, 20-minute kind of horse ride towards the town. And it's unhindered. So you're kind of just making your way as fast as you'll take the horse.
In that time, I take the time to properly introduce myself to Tristana and the dwarf. Kind of reaching my hand out. I'm Aubrin, son of the sun, Paladin of Pelor.
Tristana puts out her hand very daintily with her black satin glove, and she's like, "Yes, a pleasure to make your acquaintance." Very nonchalant, very kind of, thinks she's hot stuff.
Aubrin takes your hand in his, and he kisses the top of it.
She shudders slightly.
Yeah, and I'm Noah. It'd actually be I'm not directly involved with what's going on, but he'd be kind of in the corner. With two short swords and lying in his lap, and kind of a darkened expression on his face, but he can't help it. And as soon as he notices Aubrin kiss her hand, he says, "Careful, you might catch something."
Oh, you're funny.
Yeah, Noah, by the way.
Tristana, charmed, and she very abruptly turns her back to you.
Aubrin, self-consciously, his holy symbol starts to glow as he casts detect poison and disease on the cart.
You're lucky Tristana doesn't notice this, or she'd be very offended.
But your reading comes back negative.
He kind of nods to himself. Sigh of relief comes. Hear him whisper under his breath, "Praise the Lord."
I'm sure the sun god has seen worse than me.
Haven't we all?
All right.
Aren't we all a sun god? I think not.
I am going to bestow upon all of you a point of inspiration because I really enjoyed your banter and your efforts at the tavern.
Word.
Yeah.
I God loves us.
All that sexual tension. Appreciate it, Logan.
Very
Yeah,
welcome.
Yeah, I was like, during that whole thing where you were basically like interrogating or intimidating Born Gray, I was just like, should I come in with a one-liner?
You should have.
I should have. Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was like waiting for the moment, and the moment had already passed. I'm like, damn it.
And I forgot to say that Tristana was very impressed by your abrupt kind of like entry. I was going to say like she kind of like is taken aback, but kind of like a pleasant taken aback type of thing.
Uh-huh.
And she kind of like coyly smiled at you, but I forgot to say that. So
Especially
Retcon.
since he kind of just like appeared there, it seemed.
yes, very impressive. Veronius.
I was waiting for it.
PTSD.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that was a much needed little break. Okay, so your pleasant wagon ride doesn't last too long, and suddenly, let's see, sundown approaches when you top a rise and see the town of Greenest, just a few short miles away. But instead of the pleasant, welcoming town that you expected, or in the case of Noah, that you are accustomed to, you see columns of black smoke rising from burning buildings, running figures that are a little more than dots at this distance, and a dark, wing-shaped, wheeling low over the keep that rises above the center of the town. Greenest is being attacked by a dragon.
Noah's heart sinks as and just like in the back of his mind, he was just hoping, just like the inkling that he was just trying to scare him for whatever reason, even though he knows that guy had no idea who he was. And he rises slowly from the back of the wagon and takes everything in. Things seem to be going in slow motion, and the dragon actually only slightly registers as we were approaching the city, is actually looking at a very certain area in the distance, and is looking very eager to go.
Okay. All right. So the wagon makes its way as quickly as possible to the town, and so Greenest is set up with it's a not that big of a town, made up of about maybe 90 or so built structures, most of them farmhouses, etc. And though there's kind of like a main street, just a dirt road that travels through the center of town, and about halfway through the center of town, on an offshoot road, it goes uphill to the large keep, the Keep of Greenest. And on the west side of the town, you would know that there's a large central community center that is the temple Temple of Shanti, and on the east side is the more just kind of townhomes and farms, and where the agriculture and stuff is predominantly done. And also kind of parallel to the main street is also a stream. So just kind of a brief overview of Greenest. And as you enter the town, you notice that many of the buildings that you see are kind of like around them is surrounded in smoke and fire and kind of back. I assume that you're kind of like going to go ahead and just ride through. How would you like to do that? As you kind of hit the city limits or whatever and kind of enter the town. The road seems to be mostly clear, other than a couple of trashed wagons, etc.
Aubrin would yell from the cart, "Noah, where would the people be? Where would they take shelter?"
So you would know that in a time like this, the largest sturdy structure would be the keep.
Yeah. And so Noah kind of maybe in the background you hear like the screech of the dragon, like the roar of the fire. Be like well, if they're smart, they'd be in the keep. Some of them might be holed up in the temple, but I doubt it.
Aubrin would. Well, should we check the temple before heading to the keep, just in case? We don't want anybody left behind.
Yeah, and as Noah's kind of responding, what area of the town? You said the west had all the townhomes and stuff in it.
The east side. That's the side that you're in.
Oh, okay, east side. All right. And so I'm at Noah, but I'm as the cart is kind of coming into the the outskirts of the town. He would actually get up. I'm on the side. This isn't like a roofed wagon or anything, right?
No.
Okay, yeah. So he would just kind of situate himself on top, or maybe like on the side, maybe like one knee. I'm up there to try and get like a leverage to maybe a jump from the wagon. The second he sees any kind of enemy.
Okay.
And I'd actually if this dwarf the one driving the wagon, right, or directing the horses?
Yeah.
Do I recognize this dwarf?
I mean, he looks more like a younger kid
Okay.
dwarf that was probably here to work, just brought, to work as a farmhand.
All right. And so Noah would actually, as we're going through the streets, be like, okay, make a right there. And when you see this, you see a town. Oh, the landmarks are probably gone now. Just like things like that, trying to direct the dwarf.
Are you sure, Master? In times like these, I think the keep would be the safest place to be. Perhaps we shouldn't stay out here long.
The keep, but there's something I have to check. Something I have.
And as the wagon kind of just trots through the city street, kind of towards in the back alleys and behind houses and things, you see like flames and figures of people kind of like smashing in things and screams and yeah.
So Tristana would kind of like, as like you were kind of like on the verge of like, like you're ready to like to jump, Tristana would kind of like very gentle like put like her hand like on like the crook of your arm while we're going down these weird back alleyways, and she would say kind of very like gently that I think that if this cult of the dragon is anything like the Aurum Dracones, I think that this dragon might be hurting these people, and any second we delay, There might not be anyone left to save.
And so
They're ancient.
no. Sorry.
No, go for it. Sorry.
All right. So Noah. I kind of like do this like quick take. Look at you. There's like just that of a quick. I'm a flash of my anger of someone who's just high on adrenaline, who's not thinking clearly enough, and that quickly goes away. It's like, and he relaxes just the tiniest bit. He's still real tense, but just relaxes the tiniest bit. And he of course has no idea what you mean by Aurum Draconis, but he's like, yeah, all right.
She says, if I were them, I would make... Well, I don't know what their goal is. However, would it not make sense for everyone to go to the keep in a time of great disaster?
Yes.
I think they want the people there, and that something will go down at the keep. Whatever it is they're doing. If you need to jump off and rejoin us at the keep, feel free, but I don't want them to slip through our fingers because you're running down an old vendetta. I get it.
No, it's fine.
As we're what?
Sorry for the detour. Go to the keep.
As you wish.
I thought we were checking the temple, Aubrin yells.
So you've been kind of watching. You have the highest passive perception, Noah.
Yeah.
And this dragon that is just constantly roaring and flying up and down the entirety of the city. You notice as it goes to swoop down in various parts of the city that it doesn't seem to damage anything. It kind of swoops down and makes a loud roar and flies back up into the air, only to repeat that.
Okay. And so Noah actually notice that and just begin thinking to himself, kind of muttering, it's like, and just like realizing that this dragon is actually not, at least at the moment, in part. What color is this dragon?
So I'm glad you asked. In kind of the very last moments of light, the sun's rays shooting over, and as it kind of just peaks its wings in the right direction, it kind of shimmers this yellowish, bronzish, golden metallic color.
Okay. So I'm actually going to roll an intelligence check. All right. And so Noah actually just look up at the dragon and kind of say, to his acquaintances here, what? The dragon isn't even attacking anything. What's it doing? Just flying around screaming.
It's hurting. Like I said before, they probably want these villagers to be at the keep for something.
What
I would do if I were them.
What was the result of your intelligence check?
Yeah, my intelligence check was my intelligence check was a 4. Okay. I was yeah, that's why I was kind of like directing.
In the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
Because the city's burning all around us.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Okay.
Yeah, and so no, you're not. No, that's not recognized. Sorry.
Okay. So yeah, as you kind of approach the road that leads up to the keep, there are a couple of figures adorned in black that run across the street, some chasing other figures and others carrying large bags across their back. It's kind of like a thief would. And you make it to the road that leads to the keep. So here, lying in front of you, if you stay on the main road, would lead to the temple. And if you take a left, it would lead up to the keep.
All right. As we're kind of riding, I guess I'd make like a side glance at the temple just to see if there's anything going on. But it's just a glance.
So what you see, like many of the other buildings in Greenest, is in the distance you see smoke rising from the courtyard, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
The dwarven, the young dwarf is going to go ahead and take a left toward the keep.
Yeah. And no, I would not say anything. He wants to go to the keep, where some of these villagers should hopefully be congregated and just be looking ahead.
All right.
Unless someone else wanted to say something.
No, we're good.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you approach the large wooden gates that are open to the keep, they're just kind of cracked a little bit, but you notice that they are closing them very slowly. And from the top of the palisades, you hear, "Quickly, close the gates! There are... if there has been no more villagers to enter... scratch all of this. I'm going to start that over. We are closing the gates! Quickly! We do not want to let any of those brigands in!" And the wagon is just going to barely slide through as the gates close behind you.
All right.
So, around you, you see soldiers running every which way. Some wounded, lying on stretchers, but many of them running up the palisade, up to the palisade, to kind of ward off, crossbows ready to ward off any brigands that would try and enter, as well as to fend off the dragon that keeps making low swoops over the keep. And as you enter up from the parapet, you hear the same voice that was calling out about closing the keep. "You there! You all look able. Please, you must help. Come up to the parapet."
All right. Would I recognize this voice?
Yes, you do. This voice is Tarball Nighthill. It is, well, the mayor, essentially, of Greenest.
Yeah.
Who was he talking to?
You in the wagon.
Us.
I'd hop off the wagon and head to wherever the yells are coming from, or the guy's voice is coming from.
Tristana would get out of the wagon, very kind of like, I guess. But she's looking around at everybody here, and she's trying to look for that little symbol, just to see if there's some trace of who she's looking for.
What symbol?
The little red symbol.
Oh, the red
Little
dragon.
red dragon.
Okay. Do you want me to, like, immediately in the immediate vicinity?
Like as she's going, like walking through the crowd and stuff, as she's going towards the parapet, her head is like, she's not giving off that she's looking at it, but like her eyes are like darting around, very like.
Okay.
But her body language is very like relaxed. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Kind of like passively observing, trying to see if there's anybody.
Right. All right.
And as we're kind of walking, or I'm jogging up there, I just imagine Noah is taking in this scene within the keep, all this chaos, seeing these different soldiers barking orders, and seeing the people, some citizens. He probably sees some people he knows, and they're just being carried off on these stretchers, and no one would look, and it's just like flash in his mind. Maybe he sees, I don't know, like a Nora, who actually has like a flower shop in the town, and remember, he wouldn't really interact with her all that much, but she was a pretty nice person. Kind of brightened up his day a little bit as he was off to work, and it kind of flashed back to the scene of her being on the stretcher, her head bloodied, in a bandage, not or unconscious, and hit the grip on his short swords would just tighten as he moved forward. Like, as we move up to the parapet.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right. So as you reach the top of the parapet, Nighthill introduces himself. He is an older man of about 60 years who wears blue robes, and you notice that his head is kind of bloodied, and he wears a bandage that kind of wraps around the left side of his head, like he suffered a wound, but he hasn't spent the time to get it properly, completely treated. So he speaks rather hastily to you, kind of like a commander, leaving little time for you to interject. All you need to know for now is that I am Governor Nighthill. These raiders, they have the keep surrounded, but interestingly enough, they have yet to organize an attack. However, I believe it is our loot they seek. Yes, you heard me right, like thieves in the night. It is our loot they seek, and not our lives. Notice as you rode in here, there were a few bodies scattered around, but most of these houses have been pillaged, stolen their goods. Oh, these poor people. I greatly desire to know what it is that we are up against. And for that, well, maybe a prisoner would help. I'm not sure. But listen. Take what you need for the time being. I do not need you to introduce yourselves. You managed to make it to the keep. You must be able to fend for yourselves. We could use any of the help that we can, and I cannot spare any guards to do any other missions besides hold down what we have. Please, take what you need, medical supplies, weapons, whatever, but you must aid us. Listen, there's an old tunnel underneath, and from the parapet, someone shouts, "A group of raiders! They're trying to set fire to the mill!" Blast it all! If that mill burns, it is all our supplies, and the winter approaches. We may starve in the coming months. And next to him, a dwarf with fiery red hair, lots of kind of sets of keys on him, approaches. And Noah, you recognize him as Guard Captain Red.
Yeah.
My lord, I understand. The mill is at stake, but our scouts report that dozens of townsfolk have barricaded themselves inside the temple. The raiders seem to be making quick progress, and the temple gates surely cannot hold out for long. If the raiders break through, everyone is sure to be massacred. And as he finishes, the dragon above roars loudly, swoops over the keep, crashing into a corner, sending rubble falling down below. Nighthill continues. Time is of the essence. Follow Red, Guard Captain Red, to the old tunnel. From there, I will respect whatever course of action you choose. I am simply grateful that you are here at all. Godspeed, friends.
Yeah. Time is of the essence. Nighthill, remember me? Yeah, I'm Noah. I just moved here a year ago. Where's Evelyn? Is she here? Have you seen her?
I'm sorry, boy. I do not know where your mother is.
Damn it.
I have not seen her into the keep with any of the last remaining guard groups. I'm sorry.
Who is the temple of? What type
Shanti.
of-
So
and
she is kind of like the Earth Mother, goddess of agriculture and new life.
okay. Does this temple have any sort of powerful artifacts or relics?
No. Our temple is meager. There are
And the
no
keep, any artifacts or relics worth pillaging more
Right.
than others?
Right. I understand your questions, but no. Greenest is a meager town. We have little here.
Like, yeah, okay, Red, walk and talk. Gotta go. Right now.
Yes, my lord.
Lord.
No would be
He
like,
says to Nighthill as they walk down the parapet.
Gotcha.
okay. No would be like,
You talking to me?
when I get this I get this upgrade.
So yeah, is everybody gonna go with Red?
Yeah.
And do
I suppose.
we kind of understand what's going on here?
I guess.
Where did you say the path leads to?
The path?
Yeah, the secret path.
The
Or
old tunnel. The old
Yeah.
tunnel leads out to the stream, because Red tells you the old tunnel, it leads to the stream, and it acts as a secret entrance in case the keep is ever under siege. It is not far from the temple itself, but as I said, the mill also burns.
If you ask me, I think the mill is a distraction. Their true objective is the temple.
We can regrow and plant more food and buy food, but we can't regrow or buy people. We must go to the temple.
And Noah, but I'm actually when I responded, he is on a very one track mind right now, hearing Nighthill asking if he had seen Evelyn. He said no, and so he's just like, he has to get people, and he knows people hold up in temple. So he doesn't even like give a verbal response. He just starts walking rather hastily towards the path that would lead in this underground passageway towards the temple.
All right. It is through here. And he kind of opens the door and leads you down some stairs to a large kind of a storage room, really. And he kind of pulls aside some boxes. If you could give me a hand. And pulls aside boxes, and there's a door, like an iron door, kind of that looks like a sewer grate on the wall that he kind of starts to reveal.
Aubrin starts grabbing boxes and moving them as fast as he can.
Tristana checks her nails and is like, manual labor is not my forte.
Yeah, I figured. I figured. Noah says as he's seeing this and he's helping move the boxes.
I liked you better when you were the silent and stoic type.
Yeah, I'm not sure. When I was silent and stoic. Kind of
Exactly.
I don't remember him being silent, and I only met him earlier.
Yeah, and he says under his breath, "You bitch."
Aubrin
Wait, to who?
No, he says under his breath to no one in particular, and he's like, "You."
Oh, I was like, okay.
No.
Are you negging me, Noah? LOL.
Right. So y'all get it all moved out of the way. I am unsure if my key will work on this padlock, as it has been years since it has been opened. And he kind of gets this large key ring filled with keys and attempts to unlock the grate.
Noah actually says when he says that also under his breath, in particular to no one. Yeah, it doesn't work.
If it takes longer than 20 seconds, Tristana would like to fire a firebolt at the lock.
Yeah, so it definitely takes longer than 20 seconds.
Okay.
Aubrin
This
might even
darned thing. I am sure that this is the key.
Okay, Red, get out of the way. And as soon as he moves Red aside, that's when.
Yeah. Fire just kind of coalesces in the palm of her hand, and she just kind of shoots it at the lock. Do you want me to roll damage and
Nope.
a ranged attack, or?
The grate kind of just swings open.
You don't have time for such trivialities. Come.
Aubrin. And as it swings open, Aubrin kind of puts his shield on his arm in front of him and leads the way down the tunnel.
That is one way to get the job done. Now, remember, you can use this old tunnel to bring anyone back safely. But remember, you must not give away its location.
Yeah, we'll be secretive. Got it.
Godspeed. So,
Yeah. Stay safe, Red.
So he turns around to go, presumably back up to the parapet. And as you enter this, it really is kind of like a sewer tunnel. It's really cramped, maybe about 5 foot tall by about 5 foot wide. It's really, really kind of singular and narrow. So anybody that's obviously above 5 foot, which I think is all of you, has to stoop down. And mostly it's kind of just sewagey and algae kind of growing around with a small amount of water trickling through.
Yeah, Tristana is very vocal about her protests of going through such filth. Oh,
In front of her, splashing his way through the water.
fine silks. Ruined. And my boots. Oh, ruined.
All right.
All right, okay.
So, as you wander through the old tunnel, it's not too long, but you get close to the grate at the end, and you realize that this is also locked, but not far beyond this are two figures dressed in black robes, kind of. One of them is bent over on the ground, pulling something out of a bag, counting, and the other one seems to just kind of be sitting on a stump, taking a break, and they're chatting.
When Aubrin sees this, he goes in a whisper tone, we got to open it silently. We can't let them know where this gate is.
Yeah, and then
Or
Noah would immediately put his hand over your mouth, like, yeah, no fire this time, and he would begin. I'm a work. So then me again. There are these two guys. Or sorry, just explain the. I think I might have like switched things around in my head when you were explaining it.
Yeah, so the old tunnel kind of leads out to a small section of the stream, maybe about 5 foot wide. It's really shallow. And then maybe 10 foot beyond that is a guy in kind of black, sitting on a stump, chatting with another one who's kind of on a knee, counting things that he's pulling out of a bag.
All right.
Things that are clinking and metallic.
I'm going to cast Sleep again on these guys.
Okay.
Let's see if I can put them both to sleep. Uh, 28 hit points.
All right. And sure enough, you see one of them kind of the banter stops, and one of them the one on the stump kind of lumps to the side, And the one that was counting, you just hear like a ching as he kind of like falls on the bag that he was counting from.
So both of them fall over.
I look at no when I go now. Open it now.
Yeah, and I'm actually as you were just saying that Noah is probably already more than halfway there. Or I don't know. Would you like me to roll, Logan?
Are you trying to pick it?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd actually be all the way there. I'd actually already be working on it, and yeah, I'd be trying to pick it if it didn't open when I gave it a
right, and it didn't.
Yeah, and so Noah just be like, yeah, I'd be trying to pick it, and that would be a 14.
All right. So yes, you pick the lock. It's actually it's very difficult to work with because it's so rusty and old and hasn't been used in a long time. But you are able to work the lock and open it without destroying it.
All right. So Noah opens the grate. It looks back like, come on.
How far away is this last guy?
Where are the two people?
Yeah. How far are they?
They were about 10 or 15 foot away from the grate.
Right. The best you can. I'd like to try and sneak up and knock the guy out.
Okay.
I don't know which one to roll for that.
Wait, you put them to sleep, did you not?
Did they both fall asleep?
They both slumped over, yes.
Okay, I thought only one did.
Yeah, that's why I asked earlier. I wasn't completely sure.
Just go up and hit him again for good measure.
Yeah.
Bash both their heads in. Right. Well, since they're both asleep, I'd make sure the gate's closed behind us.
All right. And yeah, so you can do what you wish with the cultists or move on. What are you going to do? I'm sorry if I missed that.
They're cultists?
They are dark-robed figures.
Profiling.
But yeah.
I'd say we probably have more pressing concerns than looting their bodies right now.
They'll be asleep for a minute.
Okay.
If we need to make a quick escape, perhaps it's more prudent to dispatch them more permanent way.
There's no need for that. They're unconscious and they don't know where we came from.
But we do have to come back this way, and if you do want to save the townspeople, which you both seem pretty gung-ho about, might present a problem if there's two, well, cultists in the way of your only escape route.
We'll bring them a different way if we need to. There's going to be people following us, most likely anyways.
So you would know that there is no other way into the keep besides the main gate.
Yeah, and so Noah, actually, let's see. All right. So Noah, he'd look at these two, he'd look at these two cultists, and again, flash through his mind the town normally, how it normally is, and it would flash to how it is now. Buildings on fire, buildings in ruin, people he cares about injured, and he'd think how his mother's missing, how he doesn't want any people to have to deal with this or possibly get injured or anything to hinder them. And Noah would actually look at Tristana, and when she suggests this, with kind of a dark look on his face, would nod and begin to walk over towards the cultists.
Someone else take the initiative.
Drawing his dagger.
Okay.
Aubrin would speak. We don't need to kill them. Just tie them up and put a bag over their head. Or use the ropes as a blind. They won't be able to move and they won't be able to see anything.
All right.
So I would like to remind the party that the temple and the mill was already burning and the temple was already under siege before you came into the tunnel. So whatever you do, do it quickly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Does he listen? All right. Damn it! I'm like the in between.
Roll a die if you have to.
Yeah, I know. All right. And so I'm Aubrin. Actually, I'm as you're saying this, unless you don't want it to be a different layer if you do something. As you're saying that, Noah actually begins to slit the throat of one of these guys.
Somebody likes to play dirty.
Aubrin kind of bows his head, shakes it at you, and walks away. He's not going to give you a second glance. He heads towards the temple.
And above, the dragon roars loudly.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. He slits the throat of the other guy, and I'm at Tristana's comment. Just kind of looks up. When there are more important things at stake, then yeah, dirty's all right with me.
I like you. Time's wasting. Let's go.
Yeah, no.
All right, so the tunnel lets out probably 100 feet from the 150 feet from the front of the wall that surrounds the temple, and you can it kind of leads up a hill, and you have like a little vantage point as you make it to the top to overlook what's going on. So what you see going on at the temple is there are a group of 5 figures with kind of like a makeshift ram smashing or attempting to smash the front door down of the temple. And around the outer wall of the temple is a kind of a moving guard made up of 6 figures, one of those figures being a hound-looking figure. A couple of them are carrying torches. And like I said, from behind the temple is a bunch of smoke rising into the air. You're muted, Wesley.
Yeah, so is it like, how is the barricade like on the door, or is there like some type of like a gate like around the temple?
Yes, so there is kind of like a stone wall, maybe
Like a half wall, or like a 8-foot tall wall?
kind of like a let's go with a half wall.
Like 4 feet tall, something like that?
Yeah, like 4.5 foot tall, kind of stone, kind of all the way around, like a metal gate out front that's been smashed open.
Are there windows in this temple?
Any windows that it had are kind of like a couple inches wide, but really tall, long, and skinny.
Can we see into these windows, like see who's inside or how many type of thing, or is it difficult to tell?
It's very difficult to tell, but from the inside you every now and then you can kind of hear like an exasperated scream or or a baby crying kind of thing.
Are the windows big enough for like a body to fit through if it like turned sideways or if it went through straight on?
Probably it would be very difficult.
Gotcha.
I mean, probably I meant to say probably not, as it would be very difficult.
Gotcha.
Maybe a small body like a halfling
Or a child.
or a child.
Okay. And so 5 people at the door, and you said there was a group kind of like circling around it,
Yes.
looking guy? Or in that little sentry group walking around?
Yeah, in the group of 6 walking around, one of them is kind of like a hound-looking figure, on 4 legs, with a very
Okay.
long lizard-like tail.
Closer to us.
Huh? What?
Like, can you, like, so if we're like up on this like ledge, like, can you give us like, is it like in terms of like hundreds of feet, or is it like, I don't know, like 60 feet, 30
Probably
feet?
more like 60 feet.
Okay. I'm gonna look towards Noah.
You're kind of breaking in and out, Wesley.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I'll look to Noah and say, how do you want to do this?
All right, and so Noah glance in between the two groups. One of the groups you said is just like slow. I'm gonna solely focus on trying to ram this barricade down so they can get into the temple, right?
Yes.
All right, and then the other 6 or 5 and a hound, right?
Yes.
Or a hound-like creature. They're kind of like sentry walking around. Well, we could do it. We could do it one of 2 ways. We could either focus on the group that's ramming down, but then they'd probably hear, and the sentry group would descend upon us, or we could play it a little risky, try and get rid of the sentry group somehow, and then go to the ram. But honestly, I don't know the need to act.
If I may make a suggestion, I could be able to disperse the barricading brigands at the door with a pretty handy little spell. Few of them depending on their strength, but I could probably take a good portion of them out with one go, and then at the very least they would stop assaulting the temple and buy them a little bit more time if you were so inclined to save their lives. Or we could just all-out assault on the sentry party. I care not which.
Aubrin's going to speak up for the first time since what happened, and we should wait for the sentries to get just past the corner, about halfway down the wall, and then take out the group that's ramming the door or the barricade.
Okay. So as you're speaking, you hear a loud heave, smash, as they take another swing at the door. And
I'm not sure we can afford to wait.
And the group is heading. It's like they just passed the broken gate and are heading in the direction that Aubrin just spoke about, waiting for them to be at.
Yeah, and so Noah look at the 2 of them. He's like, sounds good to me. And where are we again? Do we like come out like out of the tunnel and like kind of this? Do we have like an upper view?
Yeah.
Or a down view on them? Okay. So what Noah would do is he kind of drop down, he kind of scan the area, see if there's any place that he could hide behind that is closer to the group.
Oh, and boys, you're gonna want to cover your eyes.
I don't think I
will. And then, are we gonna attack now? Surprise round or initiative or?
Aubrin, just wait just a moment longer. kind of has his hand up, waiting, and as soon as he gets to the spot where he indicates, do it now, and he brings his he kind of starts running and puts his shield up over his eyes.
Yeah.
Patience
So-
is not my strong suit.
Go ahead.
So basically, like, I kind of see like we're like on that kind of like upper alcove, and as they're kind of like running down, Tristana kind of like has like this wide stance and is kind of like summoning like all of her energy. And you can feel the air start to, like, you know, like when you're like in a car and you kind of see like the air kind of like move, and it's like that little like heat mirage type of thing. Well, kind of like all of that's kind of doing that all around her, and you kind of feel it getting substantially hotter, and you feel a little bit of sweat going down your brow, and it's just getting very, very uncomfortably hot. And she opens her eyes, and it's like eyes are made of pure fire, and she kind of brings her hands together, and this very fireball starts to coalesce in her hands. And she just flings it across at those ring ram, and it's a radius of 20 feet in each direction. So I think that hits just about all of them.
Yes, absolutely.
And as it kind of goes past you two, either overhead or like from the side, you feel a massive wave of heat, and it's almost kind of like it has like its own like imagine like a pocket of hot air kind of like whips you in the face. And as soon as it, you know, I kind of see it like a guy like looks up, like, what? And it's just gonna kind of cause this escape of air and heat and fire, just kind of boom and kind of coalesce about the guys.
Impressive.
Oh yes.
Are
One
you
of the
attempting
pictures.
to spare the door or not?
Yeah, I'm not trying to burn down the door.
Okay. All right, so go ahead and roll your damage.
Okay,
As I roll a deck save of your DC of
15.
okay.
Yeah, so on a successful save, they take half damage, and on a full save, they take everything. Okay, let's see. 2. Okay, I only got 2. That's okay. 9. Woo! 20. Woo! All right. Those who fail take 28, and those who succeeded take 14.
Good Lord Almighty. Okay. So as this massive meteor of a fireball smashes into this group of this battering ram group, 2 of them go flying. I mean, completely airborne, on fire, and basically turn to ash as they fly away. Kind of Wilhelm screaming, and one of them is blown back from the door and just combusts and catches on fire. He's kind of like crawling his way, like think of him as like legless on fire, crawling his way out, screaming. And 2 of them are able to kind of like they just don't catch so much of the energy, and they are definitely damaged and taken aback, blown against the temple, but they turn around to look and see where it came from.
Yeah. And then one thing I think I'd like to retcon is that kind of in the middle of this kind of combination of energy, I don't think Tristana would be in the most logical, like, clear thought. So I think she actually would have kind of just fired it at the biggest concentration of bodies without any kind of like thought of like, don't catch the door on fire. So if it does catch on fire, I think it's like be more realistic of her like.
So you said you did 28 damage?
Yeah.
So let me just do a little bit of math for you. They had hit it for 3 and it had 30, so it had 27 hit points left. So the door is blown asunder.
I mean, did it pass its deck save?
It failed because it has no dex. What, Ryan?
I said, I don't believe you.
Natural 1.
Yeah.
Cool.
I also forgot to say she said this very like I kind of think of it as like as an Arabic type of like Narushtan, this kind of like spell incantation that I also forgot to say. So another retcon is that she had that kind of sorcerer's like component, like la 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 la. Anyway, and that's the end of my turn.
Right. I'm
Eyes smoldering.
If this kind of surprise round is still going on, I mean, you said there are two, or this is a surprise round, right?
Yeah.
All right. If you're okay with me going, Ryan. I know
absolutely. Yeah, y'all talk about whatever you want to do.
You okay with me going, Ryan?
Yeah. All
right. So you said there are two people that didn't catch like the brunt of the blast and are still kind of standing, right?
Right.
All right. So, all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll.
These are kind of like the two larger of the figures, kind of like the hulking figures that were powering the battering ram.
All right. And all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and and you tell me what happens. All right. So I have two. Okay. So does a 20-something hit them? Hit one of them?
No. Of course it does.
All right. So let's see. Oh no! I actually need one. Damn it! All right. I guess I'll re-roll.
Shit.
What?
I only rolled 6d6 instead of 8d6. But it's still enough damage where it was fine. But I just realized that I was an idiot.
Idiot.
Freaking one of my only 2 fireballs, and I don't even. Oh man, I'm so mad at myself.
Yep, and I just realized that I have one less die 6 that I need. Okay, go. Oh, I love that. All right. So that is on that. All right. So does 18 damage take this guy out?
So what exactly do you do, and to whom?
Yeah, it was just to one of the hulking figures, and I just wanted to know if 18 damage took him out, and if they did, I had like a little narration.
Oh yeah, but of course it all but leaves a stain. All
right, and so this is actually what the guy sees. I mean, he sees the fireball just like erupt. His vision is kind of blurred from this, and he's kind of taken aback. And as he's wondering what the hell just happened, and he looks over to the hill, or maybe where Tristana was, firing this thing, he would feel it come up from like right here as one of the short swords drives its way into his skull and into the brain, and he doesn't see me at all, and he just feels it tug out, and it was the last thing he ever felt as he thuds on the ground dead. There's blood spurting everywhere from the wound, and Noah looks at the other big guy who I'm assuming I might be looking at him now. And Noah just says, "Yeah, and you're next."
All right.
Sorry for the long.
No, it's fine. You're good.
All right.
That's what it's all about. Aubrin.
And almost in stride, but not as fast or as quick. But right when Noah looks over and starts talking to the big guy, he kind of sees like a shield leading away, and then like a morning star is coming down from behind him as I swing into the guy from behind.
All right.
25.
Mm-hmm.
Max damage of 11.
Perfect.
Does he die from that?
Yes, he absolutely does.
So.
Sorry.
Or dog conscious, I guess. Doing non-lethal.
Right.
I knock him out. And is there another guy next to me?
Negative. Well, yes, there was one more guy who is currently on fire. He is missing both legs, and he is trying to crawl his way out of the compound.
Hey.
And there's no one else like near us?
No, they're not in your current vicinity.
All right. I was making sure because I had an extra attack. And I'm good.
Yeah. So the temple door is blown open. Imagine there's just a charred hole right there where the wooden door, the large wooden doors would have been. And staring out at you is one elf dressed in priestly robes and about let's call it. It looks like 4 or 5 families of various races and various ages.
Do they say anything to us, or?
Well, seeing as they're a little bit shell shocked because the door just blew open. But you see them kind of like ready their defenses as they don't really know what to think. Really, what they think is that they've just blown the door open and that they're about to die.
Yeah, and I'm kind of I see as like the backdrop, me and Aubrin standing there, both looking at them. The backdrop, just like the ground, just on fire.
Yeah,
just like everything like that. And Noah, when would he immediately recognize this elven priest?
Yes, he would. He would recognize him as Edian.
Yeah,
Edian Swift.
All right, and so Noah, and I'm immediately say, Edian, keep the people back, keep them in there. We're gonna take care of it. There's another group around back.
Are you sure there, Noah? These people are scared. We need to leave here immediately.
Yep,
and
sorry.
By the by, where did you find such power?
I got a few secrets of my own.
And he kind of looks horrified, but
so winks.
Wink.
Yeah. And he looks to Aubrin, like, what do you say? I want to lead him to safety?
And kind of before Noah can say anything, is the priest moving, or are they moving, or are they just standing there?
They're kind of still standing there. Maybe the priest has kind of made his way towards Noah now that he's recognized a friendly face, but the people are still very scared.
Are they like inside the temple doors, or are they outside?
So don't think of the temple as something that's too big. Maybe it had 5 or 6 rows of like pews leading to an altar in the middle. You know what I mean? And they're kind of towards back up against the wall towards the altar.
All right. All right. I'm going to use my emissary of peace, channel divinity. They're going to kind of give me a boost as I talk to this priest and the people so they can hear me.
Okay. Is there anything outward that occurs when you do this?
I kind of get like this holy glow, my holy symbol glows. You can see it more predominantly kind of thing.
Okay.
And I'm going to do like a persuasion. 28 persuasion. And I kind of just yell to these people. I'm here by the order of Pelor. We are here to protect you. You must stay inside, though. There are more, but as soon as we can move you, we will. Just stay inside and close the door. Don't let anybody in until you know it's us.
So you kind of hear a bunch of sighs. Some babies. There are 2 or 3 babies that cease their crying, and you hear kind of like, "Oh, thank the gods!" And so they kind of like gather their supplies, and one of them speaks up. We are here at your command, sir, knight, sir. On your word, we will move. Thank you.
Good.
And Noah, without even realizing it, had been looking to Aubrin with a little bit of like shock and like awe, or on his face, like he was like he was paying more attention to what Aubrin was saying than he should have, and he like shakes his head a little bit, and looks to the outside. Looks to the outside. To there we go. Meet the sentries.
Yeah, so it's about this time that you hear, there are more flames than there should be out front, etc. And you assume that the group has turned around. What the hell was that? And you kind of hear like a foot armor as it kind of approaches.
All right.
Ryan, the gates outside to the courtyard were already destroyed.
Okay.
And so it was the temple door that blew up.
Gotcha. I thought they were working on the wall door.
Right.
All right. No one would look to Aubrin quickly. Like, go meet him. I don't know. Don't attack it first. Maybe Tristana can do something else. But I'm gonna scale the wall. So we're gonna have to surprise him.
I will add, Noah, you do not see your mother.
Yeah.
And you said the wall is 4 feet high?
Yeah, they're about. Yeah, it's kind of like a stone wall.
So if I look over the wall, can I see where this other group is?
Yeah. Yeah, you would see them. The wall is maybe 20, 25 feet out in a circle all around the temple. But
Gotcha.
seeing as they can't see, it's very difficult to see inside the temple because of its like, it has a bunch of very skinny windows, but they're not really for looking in or out.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm
gonna take it as like you said, you're gonna hide behind the wall as they come in instead of scaling the wall.
Yeah, I had a different image in my head. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm kind of imagining it the old way, kind of.
Yeah.
But Aubrin he kind of squats down on the opposite side of the wall, like if Noah's here, Aubrin's on this side of the opening.
Right. I can picture that.
And he goes, "Just stay by me, and we'll get through this together, and we'll save these people." Tristana can handle herself. She'll be supporting us. I know it.
Okay. Are we good to go?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm good.
Tristana, where are you? I apologize.
I'm on top of the little hill alcove thing that we were on.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. All right. Yeah, so I mean really about that time you get into position and the 5 figures kind of in like a 2x2 formation rush through the broken courtyard gates. The first one being this kind of Drake-looking figure. Looks kind of like a reptilian scales, but it's got kind of canine features. 4-legged, no wings, long reptilian tail, and a maw that kind of looks like a almost dragon-like.
Sounds like a Doberman.
Lol, without the scales. Okay, so what do you want to do?
Aubrin would follow Noah's lead. Let him go first.
You'd follow my lead?
Yeah.
All right. And so I'm if we can see them running, all right, because the wall isn't that high.
Right.
All right. And so as they're kind of running around the corner, Noah, what I'm actually, I'm gonna take. Are they looking at us directly?
I believe you said that you were hidden behind the wall.
Yes.
Right. So they're not looking at you. No.
Yeah.
They kind of round the corner, and they've all been staring at this kind of burned hole, charred hole in the front of the temple, and fire everywhere. But they notice that the people are still kind of inside, and there's no one around.
Can I see Noah and Aubrin where they're at?
No,
Like from my vantage point?
I
negative.
think he would have like seen
You
a
would've
squad.
Did you say
You
no?
would know where they're at. You could have seen them like kind of sneak over to there behind the wall.
But I can't physically see them right now.
No, they are hidden behind the wall. You are all free to have a surprise round, is what I'm trying to say. So if you're going to do something, do it. If not, roll initiative.
I would
And they're
prefer-
walking behind that wall corner, right?
The guard Drake is the first one through the broken gate of the courtyard, and the rest of them are not very far behind.
I think Tristana is in. I kind of imagine kind of like heavy like metal music, just kind of like as soon as she kind of like, and it's like, and so she's like straight up in battle mode right now. She'll provide the two brave heroes a distraction. She's going to cast. She's going to twin spell her firebolt. So kind of like, I kind of see it as like this dark, ominous figure in the distance. Like on, I don't really. Am I like on top of like a hill type of
Pretty
thing?
much think of it as like a hill with like one tree.
Yeah, I kind of seem like they round the corner, and it's just my terrifying visage. And in both of the palms of my hand, I have these two flaming firebolts just kind of like ominously there. And wordlessly, with a grin, she kind of... And she fires two firebolts at the two first people that round the corner.
Okay, so that would
And
be
it's a ranged spell attack, so...
So to make things complicated, let's just let's say the one out front is a dwarven mercenary, and there are two elven mercenaries, and the last one is the last two are humans. So one dwarf, two elves, and this is like, well, okay, for simplicity's sake, they're in single file going through the gate, and it's Drake, dwarf, elf, human. You could tell by their height.
Okay, no, I hit the first two.
Okay.
Does a 17 and an 18 hit?
Yes.
Sweet.
By the way, I see it as your Tristana Zahara picture.
Oh yeah. So the first guy will take 11 points of damage, and the second guy will take 12 points of damage.
Right,
So I kind of see it, yeah, as like she just kind of fires those two firebolts from like her like higher position as soon as they round the corner.
Okay.
Phew! Sucker! Same heat wave stuff, for fun.
All right. So since they both hit, flames just kind of momentarily engulf these two figures. Does anything else happen?
Oh, that's it. It doesn't like catch them on fire. It's a
Okay.
cantrip. I wish.
All right. I was just wondering.
Actually, they
okay.
disintegrate.
So, Aubrin, I believe you said you had something prepared.
If someone stepped to the gate, I'd kind of swing my morning star and hit him on the stomach area.
Okay.
As soon
Go
as
ahead.
Yep.
And this will be the guard Drake is the first to cross the threshold, and as it does, before you can smash it with your morning star, from the distance, a fiery comet smash runs into the guard Drake.
Do I get advantage on this or not?
As it, I don't think. Molly. Is a surprise round like advantage or anything like that?
I don't know. Maybe if the Drake didn't see his hit coming, then maybe. Your call.
You were prepared for it, and the Drake is caught kind of in old D&D terms flat-footed as it was hit by this firebolt. So go ahead.
19 to hit there.
All right.
And then 20 to hit the second time.
And you're hitting the guard Drake twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
For a nice 8 damage.
Total.
Yep. I rolled ones on both die.
Okay. So you smash it once downwards and again upwards, and it kind of yelps momentarily, and then turns around and grimaces at you with this kind of guttural growl as it kind of like positions itself to lunge at you.
And I'm trying to bring my shield back up to cover myself.
Not so fast! All right. Does a 15 hit the Drake?
Yes, it does.
All right. Let's see this. Oh, I need to roll these at once. All right. Ooh, hello, big damage. All right, let's see. So, math. I'm going to have to do this math every time. So, this is actually 20 points of piercing damage as I see the dagger that I had, as I see a dagger that I had picked for my pick from the front of, if I can speak, that I throw.
I feel that.
Yeah, throw at the Drake, and if it's enough to kill it, I see it piercing its eye and going through the brain.
20 points?
Yes.
It goes straight through the brain.
Yeah. And so yeah, as it goes to attack you, Ryan, you see the dagger plunge into its eyes, and the thing just slumped to the ground.
And you can understand why the Drake was sent in first. Though this is definitely a tough creature, and everyone is kind of taken aback as it slumps over.
Yep.
Not to be dismayed, though. All 5 of the humanoid figures. Most of these guys are dressed in. One moment. Oh, okay, yeah. So most of these guys are kind of like wearing leather armor. They look mercenary-like, kind of gruff figures. But one of the elves, screw it. Both of the elves are wearing dark robes. And their gloves are kind of, they've got like little silver talons on them. They look adorned more than the mercenaries. Okay. So let's roll some initiatives.
Hey.
Wow, what I rolled earlier. Go ahead and type in chat. All right, Noah, go ahead and start us off. You have a dwarf who is just hit by a firebolt running through this gate. And it knows that there is something behind as it turns to look at, well, you.
All right. And so as soon as he turns to look at me, I am already in his face, a short sword in hand, attempting to stab him through the neck. All right. The lowest one was a 13. Does that hit?
Give me one moment. Really? That does hit.
All right.
Apologies.
And so, all right, math. right. All right. So that is 23 points of piercing damage to this guy.
Yeah. So another, like I said, he was just hit by the firebolt just before this. So go ahead and finish him off.
All right. And so, so as I'm coming forward, I'm now dual wielding these two short swords, and a fasten he can react. With one of the short swords, I actually sever. Sever. One of his hands, maybe perhaps the hand that he was holding his weapon with, and he's kind of like comes up. I then stab him through the throat, yank it back out, and jump back a little. Both short swords up. I like this kind of in a defensive position.
All right. Very good. Next is Tristana.
Okay, so this guy fell, right? There's next guy in line's a human, I think, right?
Elf. The two dudes adorned in black with kind of silvery accoutrements, and then the last two are kind of above average sized humans.
Okay, I'll just hit whoever's next, just for simplicity's sake. So Tristana's gonna is kind of visibly like breathing a little bit heavier and like profusely sweating. But she's gonna kind of put her hands in the air like this and kind of move them in a circle, like that. And you see these like flowy Arabic script, kind of like written in fire type of thing. And in the center of this like little weird circle, you see 3 flaming like snakes just kind of like wisping about. And as she kind of moves her hands closer and closer together, these 3 fiery snakes start to twist into each other and twist and twist and twist. And then she kind of brings her hand back almost like if she's pulling like a sling. She takes a sharp inhale and Nare, and she shoots off this little flaming, she's going to shoot off a scorching ray towards the next unlucky person in the way. So let's see. Does a 17 hit the next guy?
The cultist?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sweet. Okay, 8. 10. Sweet. So that guy is going to take 20 points of elf flaming damage.
So describe to me how you burn a hole through him.
So I kind of, as she like pulls back this kind of conglomeration of like snakes, and she kind of shoots it forward with that command, I kind of see as like the snakes kind of like are spinning, and they kind of like open like a big snake with the 3 little prong snakes, and as soon as they hit the guy, they kind of each snake kind of like wraps around the guy's head, kind of like a hand, and just kind of sizzles his way through his body as it just burns and chars, and eventually they kind of like go in like through his mouth and just kind of burn him to a crisp, smoldering ash.
Well, that was gruesome.
I'm just kidding. She doesn't do that, but I wanted to do that.
But she thinks it.
Indeed.
Very nice.
Indeed.
Okay.
Damn you, Molly. Take a point of de-inspiration.
All right. So seeing this,
Noted.
his comrade burned from the inside out in front of him. He's going to dart behind the wall. The next cultist in line, the second elf, he's going to dart behind the wall, but not where he saw his dwarven friend get stabbed through the throat. So your side, Aubrin, he kind of darts behind the wall, and tries to have a slash at you. So he's evading behind the wall from the artillery, but he's also going to try and take you on, Aubrin.
18 AC.
And he pulls out 2 sickles Okay. That's a 20 and an 18. You can't write this stuff.
Hold on.
So you're going to take 15 as he slashes at you with 2 sickles, both of them meeting its mark. He kind of feigns at you, one of them towards your shield, and as you go to block, he takes a swipe at your mace arm.
And when he comes to bring like his first hit, a magic, like almost radiant shield appears in front of him and blocks the first attack and then the second. As I cast shield on myself as a reaction,
Awesome.
bringing my AC
All right, so
23 until the start of my next turn.
That's cheating.
hey, that's awesome. The light of Pelor.
Ryan in his head just like.
That's the best thing. All right. So behind them, the two humans both rush to take cover on the opposite side, and one of them, as they kind of dart behind the wall, one hits the wall with his back, frightened of being smashed by artillery, and the other one sees you and rushes at you.
Me?
No, that would be Noah.
Hi, friend.
This guy, he's got kind of like a woodsman axe, two-handed. It's a 17 hit. Your AC.
Silly Logan, look at the
I
overlay.
see it. Well, it's blocked, so I can see you when you talk because I have it on like whoever just talking, and so all I can see is CK Hart from your last name. So
Yeah, it hits. My AC is 16.
all right. So he's gonna bring it down in true lumberjack style because this is actually me attacking you, and he's gonna deal 5 points of wood axe cutting damage as he brings it down. So you're welcome to tell me how you evade, but you still take 5 points.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what he actually does is he brings it down. Yeah, I know. I was about to get. Yeah, he brings it down, and I have my 2 short swords up, thinking that that I could maybe divert it a little bit, but it still comes through and it's like like wean it off to the sides. Remember, like it just grazes my shoulder.
All right.
As and I'm going to use uncanny dodge as a reaction. And take. Do you round down?
Yes.
All right, I take 2 points
Very good.
instead. And I see across his chest, because he's not wearing armor, crosses a hairy chest of the words burned in, actually burned in to the fire. Some of it like leaped off and burned into his chest. Lumberjack fantasy.
No. That was branded there.
Ah.
Yes. He's
All
well
right.
known amongst his friends.
I was going to compliment Tristana that she had the time to do that. But yeah.
Anyway. So the other one takes cover. And he's going to go into I believe it's called what is it called? Total cover or whatever.
I believe it is the. Oh wait, is he?
Cover from Wesley or?
He's gonna hunker down.
Ah, okay.
It's like the equivalent of dodge, but for like ranged attacks, basically.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it will be top of the morning at Noah.
That's my turn.
I'm sorry. It is Aubrin's turn. Forgive me.
Okay, good. And it'd be full cover if he's behind the wall, like full cover from Wesley.
Right.
Yeah,
And then
like
he's also taking like a total defense.
There's a dodge action that you can take, and it gives disadvantage to people trying to hit you.
There you go.
It also gives advantage on dexterity saving throws.
That too. All right. You're muted, Wesley.
What's going on?
I don't know. Y'all were all muted.
Well, it's your turn.
You said the cultist hid behind the wall.
Yeah, so on the opposite side where Noah's at, one of them attacked him, one of them took cover behind the wall, and on your side you have a cultist who just tried to deal lots of damage to you.
Right. I'm gonna say, mostly the Noah, don't kill this one. Then I'm gonna try and knock him out. Uh, 20 to hit both times.
Okay.
And 15 damage. As I pound onto him with the Morning Star.
Okay. Sounds good. So
I'm gonna move kind of away and within 5 feet of Noah, bringing my shield up.
you're gonna move to the other side.
Yeah.
Wait, Noah's on the opposite side of the wall from you, just so you know. Like,
I'm gonna move next to Noah. Or so like
Noah's he's about 15 feet from you. I'm trying to make sure that you understand what we're looking at here. On the inside of the courtyard, there's the busted gate. To the left is where you are with the cultist. To the right, Noah has jumped 10 foot back. There's one mercenary hunkering down and another mercenary attacking Noah.
all right, I'm gonna step up between Noah, but kind of be like next to Noah, but still between everyone and the door, if that makes sense. To the
All right, so the cultist is going to take an attack of opportunity on you.
Yep.
And miss as you deflect it, probably with your shield.
Cool.
All right.
Top of the morning to ya.
Yes, indeed.
All right. I'm going to assume the lowest one again was 15. That hit the guy in front of me?
Yes.
All right. So you know how I said I had one less die 6 than I needed? I actually had 2 less, and I still need another one.
Wait, just roll the same one again.
No, I have a dice tower. It has to be done at once. All right. Do my taxes. All right. So 26 points of piercing damage.
Good lord.
Does he die?
Absolutely, he dies.
All right.
The other one went down from 20 from a scorching ray.
All right. And so I'm so Aubrin says, "Keep this one alive." And as soon as he says that, the guy in front of me, I leap back, or I leap onto this guy and kind of stab him once in the abdomen, and then bring my other sword across his throat and kick him off, and then look to Aubrin and say, "I hope you meant that one." Looking to the other guy across the.
He kind of hit the cultist. Keep the cultist alive.
Yeah. Yeah. So that'd be my turn. I'd again take the same stance, and I'm an inch closer to the cultist, maybe about 10 feet away from him.
All right. Very good. So it is, scroll up in the chat, Tristana's turn. You're muted.
Is there one guy left or 2 guys left?
There's one guy in total defense that you cannot see behind the wall, and there is one cultist who you can kind of see his head. Maybe his head.
Actually, I have X-ray vision, so.
Oh, then you can see Carthron. There it goes. You can see Aubrin through his armor.
Gotcha. And Aubrin, he was fighting one guy, and then he said, "Keep this one alive," and then ran to another one. Is that right? Or
Yeah,
what?
I kind of
What
had to keep this guy alive, and then I kind of like hit at him twice, and then I stepped back to be next to Noah.
So let me just say, it would be difficult for you to hear this.
I yelled it very loudly.
Yeah. Okay. So I rolled like a 7 for my ranged spell attack. So basically, kind of how I see this is like after the last like 3 kind of barrages, Tristana like kind of like falls to one knee, with like sweat profusely like dripping from her, and she goes to summon like one more like firebolt, but due to like the stress and all that kind of stuff, it kind of just like fizzles out, and so she's not able to cast the spell this round. Taking a breather, basically.
Very well.
Indeed. And I end my turn.
I believe that makes it my turn.
You end your turn in true Yu-Gi-Oh fashion by saying, "I end my turn."
How far is Noah from me?
Yugi!
How far is Noah from you? You said you moved yourself next to him.
Yeah, did he move away from me on his turn?
No. Question mark.
I did say that I was going to move closer to the cultist and maybe 10 feet away, but if we were only like 15 feet away from him in the first place, like I think you said earlier, then Aubrin can probably still be next to me. I mean, it's not that far that I move up. Maybe he's like adjacent.
Yeah.
In like a diagonal. We're thinking in like a grid.
Gotcha. Just wondering.
Okay. Yeah. So the cultist, not wanting to back down at all, rabid in his devotion to his cause, is going to go after the one that he was chasing. Oh, Aubrin.
Yo.
Brandishes his sickles again. One missing and one meeting its mark. He's going to take a slash at you with this silvery sickle for 6 points.
Cool.
And the one that was cowering in a way, hunkered down behind the wall, is now going to get up and take a charge at Cartheron.
No.
Attempting to, yeah, no, at sorry, there's something in my throat. He's going to run at Noah. What has been done cannot be undone. And I'm going to need him back because he's going to... I don't need him back. It's going to take... As he gets up to run, he trips on what is probably a root and falls flat on his face.
That was the mercenary, right?
Yes, that was the mercenary.
I just got back, but I ripped that guy.
Yes, rip that guy. Very much rip that guy. He was attempting to bull rush you, Noah, and has now fallen flat on his face. That will be his turn.
Oh, man.
It is now Auburn's turn. You have a cultist in front of you.
I'm going to go ahead and swing at the cultist again twice. Ooh. Crit on the first one and 17 on the second one.
All right.
How do you do crits?
How Molly does crits?
I don't know. How do you do crits?
Max damage on the first die roll that you do, and then roll the die again.
Ooh. Max damage on 19 damage in the first hit. To knock him out.
Absolutely knocks him flat on his butt.
I see it as he runs up and hits my shield or hits me and then brings his sickle back for a second attempt, and I block it, throwing him off balance, and just smash into his side with my mace.
Knock him out the box, Luke.
And then I'm going to step up and hit the guy with my second attack that's on the ground.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, so he is prone, so you have full advantage.
All right. You may keep the roll, the 17 I had, or what do you roll?
I don't care.
All right, I'll keep the 17.
He's literally eating dirt. He hates his life.
It's like, I don't care.
I hate when I roll ones, man.
No, it's great. Oh, man.
And then this guy takes 7 damage as the morning star comes down onto him.
It's not nice to beat someone while they're down.
Maybe they shouldn't be down.
All right. So, top of the morning. This will be Noah.
And so Noah would actually, I'm going to look over to Aubrin, and I'm going to eye the mercenary, and he'd go like,
Aubrin sees nothing.
God damn it. Okay.
See his passive perception?
11, he sees extra nothing.
All right. So I'm and so Noah, to this poor sap on the ground, he'd walk over to where Aubrin can see him in his direct line of sight, and he'd look over, like not even paying attention at the guy on the ground, and he'd look over at Aubrin and go.
Aubrin sneezes at that same moment.
Oh my. Okay, no.
Okay,
Leave me alone.
so irritated. Noah's like, whatever, and he brings down. He switches in his hands the butt of the short sword and brings it down on the guy's head, attempting to knock him out.
All right. Yeah. So he was in the process of trying to get up, but he's definitely out cold now.
Yeah, and so but before that, Noah kind of like, peers down at him and was like, no, you made a bad decision today. Knocks him out. It's a butt of a short sword.
Pouring salt on a slug.
Indeed.
Oh my gosh.
It will forever be a thing.
We'll kill you for this. Yes, indeed. All right, so you have vanquished the foes before you.
Yeah.
Tristana takes a breather, and the townsfolk, the babies begin. Some of the babies begin to cry again, and Edian, the priest of Shanti, kind of walks towards the doors. Noah, will that be all of them?
And Noah, looks around, looks over his shoulder. Yeah, that should be all of them. And I think it's at this point, now that the tension, like in the air, from the combat. I know you told me earlier that I would have noticed, but at this point is when Noah would actually begin to focus his attention and look around, maybe as he's speaking to Edian, and he would notice that his mother isn't there, and he would again get that like a look or like dark look on his face, and he'd look at Edie and immediately he's like, "Have you seen Evelyn? Have you seen my mother? Anywhere at all? Maybe as you were fleeing or you took cover, anything."
I am sorry to say that I have not seen your mother.
Damn it!
When they struck the town, they struck in the vicinity of where your house is. I did not see what occurred, as my efforts were, I was busy attempting to get whoever I could inside of the temple. I'm sorry.
And so I'm after saying "damn it," but I'm actually walk around, just like put his hands through his hair, kind of do a little circle, and like, No, it's fine. It's fine. We need to get them to safety.
And
Aubrin,
Auburn's gonna, after kind of taking this breather and catching his breath, he's gonna remember that there was smoke coming from behind the temple. He's gonna check it, make sure there's nothing on fire. The smoke has stopped.
Okay. So yeah, when you do make your way around the back of the temple, you notice that it was a couple of bales of hay that are now kind of getting towards the bottom and charred. And over the top of the wall, you kind of see like a pair of legs kind of tumble over, and a couple of figures run into the darkness outside the walls.
And Robinson, I take a deep breath and I go, Noah, get them inside. It's not safe. There's more in the back.
But before you say that, you would know that means they were escaping you.
Oh,
Does
they
that
were
make
escaping
sense?
me.
Right.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
you know, it's great to have someone in the party that has more than like a 5-second bank of memory. So
real.
thanks, Brian.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So if you want to retcon what you say,
Yeah. I like the way I saw it, I was coming from the outside of the wall, going around, and they were jumping inside.
Oh no! I apologize. And this is all because we're not playing on a grid, but no, they were leaving the courtyard, getting away.
Okay. I guess instead of saying that, he goes, "There were more back here, but they're gone. They jumped the wall and fled. But be on the lookout. They may follow us."
All right, good. And Noah, when I'm kind of look up at the hill, or my Tristana, she's still kind of like taking a knee, taking a breather.
Pretty much, yeah. That's kind of how I see it. I think her eyes would be fixed on the captive that you guys have taken, though. But she's still kind of on one knee and is probably making her way down a little bit slowly. But she's gonna head over to that captive and just make sure that he's not like waking up anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
And was it the elf and the other elfin robes?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I think we captured one cultist and you obliterated the other.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. There's actually one other mercenary that I knocked out. So
Yeah.
killing.
I think we had taken both tied up kind of thing.
All right. So Aegean is going to approach the party. I understand that the doors to the keep have been locked. I do not know another way in, but we must leave quickly. We have young, and there are a few of us who are wounded and elderly.
Aubrin would look around real quick, make sure the two are still unconscious.
Oh yeah, they're totally out. You're good.
We know of a secret passage to get into the keep. Just follow us and keep quiet as quiet as y'all can. And we'll get you to the keep safely.
All right. Okay, so is everybody good?
Yep.
All right,
Aubrin
we're
would
gonna.
blindfold and kind of put whatever in their mouth to keep them from screaming if they do wake up, and make sure they can't see,
Okay.
just so they don't know where we're going or anything.
Yeah.
Keep the
You
passage
got
aside.
it. Time reference. It's probably about 9 o'clock at night. The town. There's still many buildings burning. There are a couple screams every now and then in the night, and but for the most part, there aren't too many figures out in the open. Most of these deeds are being done in the shadows, and you're able to make it back to the tunnel unhindered. Aegean calming some of the babes with some light magic, and you're able to squeeze your way back into the keep.
And Aubrin would walk up to Noah and goes, "I know you're looking for your mother, but So let's get these people inside, make sure everything's okay, and I'll help you look for her if that's what you want.
Yeah, it's a funny you say that. Noah, or Noah's still going with the group, but he'd kind of been in like a kind of like in his own thoughts, and you kind of like jar him out of it, and he's like, "Oh well, thank you." To be honest, once we got those people there, I was just gonna go out. I'm just gonna go out there myself. If you wanted to follow me, that'd be great. But
How tall is Noah?
what, Ryan?
How tall are you?
How tall am I?
Yeah.
Like 5'10".
So we're relatively the same height. And as you're saying this, he kind of puts his arm around you, comforting you the best he can. And by Pelor's blessing, she will make it through this and we'll find her.
I don't know about
And then, Molly, you can go ahead and make a retort to
I don't know
that.
about
Sorry.
Pelor, but I hope you're right.
What was that?
What'd you say, Molly?
I don't know about Pelor, but I hope you're right.
Okay. Does anybody have anything before we go into the tunnel?
Yeah. What were you saying?
So Tristana would like to say, I don't want these guys to get. I would like to question the elf before we get back to the keep. If he gets back there, who knows what could happen? I need to have answers as to why they're here. You guys can go ahead. I asked that you'd leave me with the elf.
Aubrin, how about we get you both inside? He's blindfolded and unconscious right now. We'll keep you in the storage room, and no one should be in there anyways. You should have your privacy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Wait, what'd you say, Ryan?
Let's get you into the storage room of the keep, where the door is, and no one should be in there at all. You'll have your privacy there.
Okay, she reluctantly agrees.
Yeah, and the keep as well has its own kind of prison system.
Well, her thing is like she doesn't want him to go through the system. She wants him she wants to.
Yes.
You know.
Well, remember the people of Greenest have also lost everything dear to them, so there will be nothing spared
Yeah,
or held
totally
back.
care.
Well, there will be
Yes.
nothing spared or held back because they, more than you, want to know why.
Oh, really? They want more than me.
So, Noah, as everyone makes their way into the tunnel, Aegon notices your reluctance to kind of enter the tunnel, and he knows that it kind of heard between you and Aubrin that you wanted to go and search for your mother. So he's going to say, Noah, listen. Your mother would care about your safety more than hers. Please, join us in the keep. It will be safer here, and I'm sure that Governor Nighthill will have another plan. Be patient. Your mother is a strong woman, and Shanti will surely watch over her. And he's going to actually attempt to persuade you to come inside.
Mm-hmm.
With a nat 20. So sorry.
I resist.
I leave.
You're welcome to roll against it.
No. I was gonna say no persuasion check needed, but Noah would kind of look up. I'm gonna look into the priest's eyes, and he'd see a little bits, or kind of a distraught face just for a split second, but then it strengthens again, and he says, "I know she's strong. That's the thing, though. I'm my mother's child, and the way she cares about my safety more than her, I care about hers more than I do. But I'll go to the keep. Make sure these people are safe, and then I want to go out there and look for her."
All right. And with that, we will end our first session. So if you've made it this far, here I am. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll be back shortly. Bye-bye.